Hello everybody, getting ready to do assignment 4. I'm going to pick up the speed here, pause the video if you need to, but we're going to go assignment 4 and we're going to create a Google Sheet. So new is where we're going to start. You're going to click Google Sheets. That's going to open up a untitled Google Sheet for you. I'm going to go to mine real quick. You'll notice my sheet has a lot of information on it and I'm going to go through how that happened. But before I do that, I need you to rename your sheet assignment 4. After you name it assignment 4, we're next going to look at some information on the page. Yours probably has nothing, but if you notice in your instructions, I've provided you with some information in an example here to give you information to put on the page. So if this example link right here in your instructions will give you all the base information here, but I manipulated all this text and I'm going to show you how I did that. Okay, whether you've added the information or not yet, that's okay. The first thing after we're going to rename is we're going to add sheets. Down here at the bottom, you'll notice there's sheet 1 and sheet 2. That's what yours is going to say sheet 1 first. You need to hit the plus symbol to add a sheet so you have sheet 1 and sheet 2. And then we're going to manipulate those. How are we going to manipulate those? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to double click on the name of it. Instead of saying sheet 1, I'd like it to say table 1. Instead of sheet 2 saying sheet 2, I'd like it to say table 2. Okay, when you click on these, it's going to take you to these different sheet tabs. All right. After you've changed the names, I also want you to change the color. Change your sheet 1, your table 1 now to the primary color of your school. Mine is blue. I clicked the little down arrow, I went to change color and I selected blue. Our secondary color is white, but to prevent from being white and not being able to see it, I chose black because that's the other alternative color we have at our school. So I did the same process, down arrow, change color, and I went to black. Okay. That being said, the next thing we need to do is put some information in our table. So if you want to go down to the section where it talks about putting in information, you can add your own or you can use mine. I've provided an example. You can copy and paste that information right on over. Okay, so what we're going to do, we first are going to manipulate the title. I changed the heading or the size of the font to 18. All right, that's the first thing I did. The second thing I did is I clicked the More option because I'm in a split screen scenario. You might not be. You're looking for this button, the Merge Cells. What you're going to do after you've located the Merge Cells button is you're going to select I'm going to unmerge this so you can see what this looks like. You're going to select by clicking, holding, and dragging A1 to C1 or A, B, C. Then you're going to hit the Merge button and that's going to merge your cells. Now yours may not be centered because you haven't hit the center button yet. It probably looks something like this, but there's a horizontal alignment button that you can use, and I like to center my titles, so there it is. I centered my titles. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this information going across the top, our row or column titles, if you will. These are our row titles. These are our column titles going across. I'm going to select those. I want them to be a little bigger than what they are as a natural number, so I made them size 12. I colored them red. There's my font color or text color, and then I also underlined them. To underline them, after selecting them, I held Control and hit U. That took it off because I hit it again. I'm going to do it again, and there they are. Okay, I've noticed that my suits aren't really looking very strong, so up here at the top, let me get rid of that. If you mouse between B and C, you'll see arrows, a double-headed arrow. You can drag the cell to make it fit in there a little better, and I'm going to do the same for percentage of suits. There we go. So now those titles might fit in there a little better. The next thing I want to do is manipulate the side headings. Again, we're practicing on changing text. One of the things I did here was I changed the text color to green. I'd also like to change the font. I want to make it stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to go pick any other font besides Arial. Arial's the standard. Let's go Cherry Cream Soda. That looks like fun. There we go. And so now we have that information set. The next thing I'd like you to do to practice more alignment, you're going to select these numbers. You don't have anything in this total box yet, but that's okay. We're going to talk about formulas next. You're going to go up here to your alignment button again, and you're going to hit the center option again. All right, and that'll center those numbers up. They look a little bit more crisp. Over here, we're now going to talk about formulas. The first formula I put in, I'm trying to calculate the percentage of suits that are in farmers, that have been held for farmers, restaurants, sports organizations, so forth and so on. By the way, none of this information is accurate. It's all made up, but it's just here to do its purpose. So to put this formula in, you're going to hit the equal sign just like you would in Excel, and then you're going to select the cells that you want to manipulate. I want to know what percentage of farmers class action suits there are in our world or in our nation. So I'm going to select my 8. I'm going to divide by the total. You may not have a total yet because you haven't totaled that. That's okay. Hit enter anyway. All right. After you've hit enter, you're then going to come down here because it's probably showing you an error, and that's okay. We're going to add a number in here, and I'm going to show you how it'll automatically adjust. I really want you to see that so that you can know how to fix it in the future if something like this should happen. So over here in the more, if you're doing split screen, there's an auto sum or a functions button that you can use, and you're going to sum that column. So I clicked on sum, and that's going to open up a formula for me, and all I have to do is select this range, and it'll total it. Just select it and hit enter. Okay, and it looks like it's 99. So that should have made this about 10.10% because you haven't done any sorts yet. Yours probably still says restaurants on top. So don't fret, we'll get there too. All right, so with the 10.10%, the next thing you're going to do, you're going to go back into this formula, and you need to make the formula have a dollar sign in front of the B and a dollar sign after the B. All I did there was double clicked inside this cell so I could type in it, and then I put myself in position to put a dollar sign in front and a dollar sign after the B. This makes this an absolute reference, so that formula or this cell that has 99 in it will carry through the rest of my formulas if I drag this formula down. I'm going to show you what that formula dragging looks like here momentarily. The B3 as we drag down will change to B4, B5, B6 respectively. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to hit enter to get out of that box so it'll keep it. And then I'm going to single click back on this cell, grab the fill handle, it's this little box in the right lower corner, click, oops, let me control Z. I didn't want to stop. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag down. And that should put all my references in. And it looks like I missed the bottom one. I need to drag down more. There we go. Okay, so that should put all your formulas in. The next thing you want to do is sort this information. So we're going to select this information that we have here, excluding the total. We don't want the total in the sort. And you're going to go up here to data, and we're going to go to sort range. Clearly there are a bunch of other things that you can sort here, and you can sort by different columns. But I want to go to sort range, and you can sort by column A. In my case, I sorted by column B, and I just did A to Z. All I want to see you do is sort one of your columns A to Z so it looks uniform and compared to one of the columns that you have. Okay, so all you got to do is select the information, go to data, sort range, and then I'm going to hit sort out of column B. So that's why my information was in this order, because it's lowest to highest, A to Z, in the column B. And column B is recognized by the B right here. Okay. After that, I implemented a chart in here. So I'm going to go up here I'm going to select my data again. I want the titles in this time. I don't want the total. Leave the total out again. And in fact, my chart only includes the first two rows, or first two columns. I'm sorry. So select that information, go up to Insert, and then Chart. And the chart dialog box is going to show up, and they have a bunch of options in here for you. You can do different types of charts here. I'm going to keep it pretty simple today. There's a bunch of other ones you can do. I'm just going to leave it as a column chart. I'm not going to do any stacking. It shows me my range that I've selected. You can tell what's on the x-axis, what's in the series, and then there's some other options down here too, like you can switch the rows and columns. You can use row 1 as headers, which I always leave, and I always leave this too. I don't really like to change it up a whole lot, but if you get more complex and complicated, you can. There's a customize option too. In the customize option, you can add some chart styles, some axis titles. You can put a series and a legend in there. I'm going to leave that out for now. That's a little bit more than I want to do in a basic course. I just want you to get the chart in, and then you can play with the other tools later. I will do an advanced one that will talk more about that stuff at another time. So I'm going to close this. I've got my chart in there, and you know I've already have a chart in there, so I'm going to show you how all I did was click here on my chart, and then if I click and hold, you see it makes a little fist, and I can drag it and move it down. I'm actually going to delete this chart because I already have it. I don't need to. And I resize this chart by clicking on it and grabbing one of the squares and resizing it down. You can make it as big or as short as you want. And that's inserting a chart. Okay, along with sorting, you can also filter. So if you click on data and you go to filter right here, it'll put filters on each one of your rows or your columns. And you can click the down arrow and you can sort A to Z by this. And then it changes up how it was sorted. The filter is a nice feature. Do I use it a lot? Depends. But for the most part, I don't use it. So if you want to put a filter on there, you can. I just wanted to show you how to use it. You might play around with it. But once you are done with it, I want you to go back to it and turn off your filter. Okay, and so that should leave your data as it was, as if you filtered it. At this point, I would like you to go back and make sure it's an A to Z filter one way or the other. Mine is still. I still just filtered it A to Z. It's just by drug companies in column A now instead of column B. So that's fine. The next thing I want to talk about is protecting your data. So if you go back up here to data and you go to protected sheets and ranges, you can enter a description of the protection you want to put on there. Let's see, sheet protection. And then this is selected to do a range right now. And basically what this is going to do is I'm going to go in and set permissions, and only I can edit this range. Okay, that's what that is for. Okay, and then hit done. Changes saved. I had done a previous one just to practice. If you want to turn these off, you can. You can edit. You can edit them too. You can change permissions. You can trash it. I'm going to trash this one. Remove. And so now my previous one's on there. So I want you to leave at least one protection on there just so you showed me that you've done it. How do you know a protection's on there? If I close this and I look at this range, it shouldn't allow me to move it if that was the range protection. Or if it's the sheet protection, I shouldn't be able to change anything. So if I go in there and I can't do something, I'll know you did a good job. The last thing I want to do is talk about the revision history again. It's up here as well, just like in the Google Doc. Again, you can see who's been manipulating what and when they've been manipulating it. And it's pretty easy to identify if all parties, if it's a shared document involved, have been working on it together, or if only one person's been doing most of the work. Same principles as Google Docs. I'm not going to go any further into detail on that, just because it is what it is. The last thing I want to do is have you share the document or share the Google Sheet to your weapon of mass education. So if you click share, get shareable link, and you copy the link again, you may have to click get shareable link to make it do that, but copy the link. I want it to be view only. Hit done. Go to your weapon of mass education. I'm going to pause for. Okay, I'm at my weapon of mass education. I'm looking for the part where it talks about something about calculating or doing something with a spreadsheet. You may label this assignment 4 if you want to, so you can keep track of everything we're doing. And I'm going to insert the link to this document here to start and continue my weapon of mass education. To do that, I'm going to click more so I can get my link option. And I've already copied the link, so I'm just going to Control V and paste it in there. I'm going to hit apply. And I've got 2 of my items in, ready to move on to the third one. We're going to talk about Google presentation next.